As soon as I took a seat, Sarah got to work. Are we supposed to behave like grown-ups or something? Depends, I said. Can you admit to committing a felony theft? The woman gave a disapproving look. Holy cow, you're outrageous. Nobody stole anything. It belonged to the family. In whatever situation, you are there to lend a hand. It was essential. Then Seth gave a little nod. You don't need to. So what's the big deal? I never gave my approval. Also, you didn't decline.
Why?
Because I had no idea. Information, Sarah whispered. Mom was the one I looked to for direction. Is this something you can simply accept? She averted her gaze. Our consensus was unanimous. You've consistently shown that you're the one who can manage it. Asking wasn't even considered. You were trusted, Dad added. Confided in your ability to make the proper decision. Up I got. Then what is correct? Permitting you to steal from me while you smile at my face. Cut out the word steal from sentences. Sarah yelled out. To support the family. After that, you won't be so upset when your loved ones have to deal with the fallout. I don't understand. Seth averted his gaze. No, I said. I am not ready just yet. You are not granted permission to weep at this moment. Everyone was already inside the house when I entered. Mom was making an unnecessary racket as she laid the table. As if this were any other Thursday night, Dad casually flipped stations while sitting on the couch. With her arms crossed and her jaw clenched, Sarah stood near the window. As if he were going to watch a game instead of deal with the fallout of stealing someone's life savings, Seth lounged at the table's end. Look who showed up, Sarah said with a touch of sarcasm. Quietly, I set my bag down at the entrance. I mumbled something about how we should just finish this. It was good, Seth smiled. Perhaps we can halt this act of pretending someone stole from you. It was a heist. I took a seat. There was a hint of it. Mom shook her head. We are aware of your distress, Mason. However, you must realize that we were facing difficulties. None of our other choices were viable. Both Sarah and Seth were in danger of drowning. You, Dad continued, have always been the rock. You were someone we could rely on. You didn't ask, I remarked with an icy tone. You seized. Don't call that family. That's dishonest. Sarah scowled in frustration. Wow, you're going all out there. We used it for something worthwhile. We put it to good use when it counted.
No.
I retrieved a printed spreadsheet from my purse and forcefully placed it on the table. $2,300 to settle your auto debt, $1 for 72 on cosmetics, $900 on takeout, Seth. I didn't intend to verify. With a furrowed brow, Seth drew closer. Have you reviewed our financial records? That wasn't all I did, though. I booted up my laptop. A clean, color-coded breakdown appeared on the screen. With each and every bill. With each change. Fully traceable. I gathered all of the transactions. I reported fraud. But you know what? I heard from them again. Sarah was taken aback. I didn't. It was me. Were you the ones that contacted law enforcement? Her scream was almost deafening. Mom was the one I looked to for direction. Would you have me believe this is still a family affair? I can't believe this, Dad angrily said. Do you really intend to send your own sister to prison? It was you who went there. A knock followed. The door was pounded 3 times by massive, forceful blows. Sarah became white. Quickly, Seth rose to his feet. My mom retreated in shock. My dad stood motionless. Open up, someone yelled. Financial Crimes Unit. Please, knock. Please, knock. Please, knock. Seth lowered his voice and looked at me. I hope you're not kidding me, Mason. I unlocked the door. 3 men in uniform entered, their coats bearing prominent lettering. The first 2 held clipboards and tablets, while the third took stock of the area. Is that you, Mason Carver?
Yes.
Your cooperation is much appreciated. We'll handle the rest. Mom hid her mouth. As if her legs had given out, Sarah collapsed into a chair. Incredulous, Seth remained still. They were approached by one of the agents. An open case of financial fraud and identity theft lists you as parties of interest. What is identity theft? My mother sobbed. Our son. Unfazed, the agent continued. Legalizing criminal behavior depends on more than just blood links, ma'am. Nothing was taken from us. Sobs escaped Sarah's lips. A right was ours. His assistance was constant. His assistance was constant. Without fail, he does. A second agent replied in a level-headed manner that feeling entitled to someone else's money does not make it yours. Please stay seated. I merely observed from a distance. They listened to me without interrupting, making fun of me, or laughing at my expense. My mom looked at me, her voice quivering and her eyes welling up with tears. Excuse me, Mason. Your pain was unintentional. Our situation was entirely one of desperation. No matter what, you've always been the rock. We could rely on you alone. I met her intense gaze. You are not granted permission to weep at this moment. She wept while covering her mouth. Sarah attempted to utter a word, but her mouth froze. Seth sat down under the intense gaze of the agent, even though he appeared ready to flee. Do you wish to discuss the nature of family? With a stride forward, I spoke. Honesty is key. It's due regard. I am requesting. Assuming nothing. Doing not steal. I will not laugh as you drain me empty. Nothing was stated by them. Taking my rucksack off the floor, I pivoted to face the head agent. I will be outdoors. And I was able to proceed unimpeded this time. Thanks, Mason. You're free now. Leave immediately. I silently departed from the house. Everyone let me go. My name went uncalled. No remorse was felt this time. There is no drama. I didn't hear Sarah's customary, "How could you?" yelling after me. As the investigators led each suspect out, the only sounds were the biting night air and the crunch of tires behind me. I left before the game started. That evening, I embarked on my journey aimlessly. In the passenger seat, my phone beeped continuously as we drove by deserted gas stations and shuttered cafes. Not a single call was answered by me. Apologies disguised as excuses were not what I was hoping to hear. At the stroke of midnight, I found myself parked outside my grandmother's old house, the one spot that had ever provided me with a sense of safety. I still possessed the key, even though she had passed away a few years earlier. "Come here, Mason, if they ever betray you," is what she would tell him. "There will be no closed doors for you." Indeed, it did that very night. I had a flawless 11-hour sleep. Stay away from texting. Not guilty. Unlike when I was at home with my family, I didn't feel a weight on my chest. When I went to check my account balance after our family reunion, it was empty. "You weren't as much of a need as my brother-in-law and I were." He scoffed. "Then you won't mind what's coming next," I murmured, trembling as I went for my suitcase. A resounding crash jolted the dwelling as they chortled. It was like a bolt of lightning. "And now you're really upset about this?" Holding a beer, Seth rested his haughty half-grin on the refrigerator. "Just chill out. Our need for it outweighed yours." With my hand poised over my banking app's refresh button, I blinked. By this point, I had struck it 3 times. The displayed value remained unchanged, costing $4.87. That is just incorrect. More than 14 grand was in my possession yesterday. The number 14. In the thousands. Are you serious? My voice quivered slightly. My sister Sarah, who was sitting on the couch, laughed. She exhibited an air of total indifference as her legs folded beneath her. It was simply another night of family game night, sipping wine like this. "Say it softly," she admonished. "We didn't exactly pilfer it, either. We're quite close. My account was depleted by you. By the way, if we're going to repay it, it's not depleting," Seth shrugged. I opened my lips to speak, but nothing came out. From across the room, I could see Mom knitting. Never once did she look up. "My mother," I yelled out. "Were you aware of this?" As if I had just accused her of sabotaging dinner, she let out a sigh. "My darling, you're always so delicate. Your job is commendable. Home ownership not required. I have no children. There is no one else in your town. That's all right. Then it's okay to take from me, right? Dad said something about language and Mason without taking his eyes from his phone. My gaze shifted to Sarah. Just how did you gain access to this? She blamed you, saying without remorse, for leaving your details on the family computer. It would be better if you stayed logged in the next time. Yes, you are the one to blame. My own. In my tracks, I halted. My hands became clenched. I was finding it difficult to breathe. You're escalating this beyond what is necessary, Seth remarked. There's no way we squandered it on pointless things. Rent was paid. Purchased food items. Just so you are aware. Made it. It was uninvited. According to Sarah, they didn't believe it was necessary. Things have been costing you money for a long time. If it originates with you or with you, does it make a difference? Step by step, I gathered my bag. Nobody budged. It was not acknowledged. It was as if no one had noticed. Have you already departed? Why? Mom inquired. I confirmed by zipping my coat. Though rest assured, I will get back to you. Don't be that way, Sarah said, rolling her eyes. Our need for it outweighed yours. That is simply the truth. I went to turn the handle on the door. I stopped. If that's the case, you'll be fine with what follows. They chortled. However, something had already begun outdoors. Count on it every time. Isn't that your purpose? Hello there. Are you okay? As I trudged outside to my car, my cousin Jean was closing the gap between us. I was visibly angry and agitated. No. I pulled the door open while whispering. She emphasized with caution that she had heard Sarah's words. It was incorrect. I remained silent. I would scream if I talked. This, however, was not an isolated incident. It had been my responsibility for a long time. The one who has a secure work. The self-sufficient one. That effectively made me the designated family moneylender. It all began with Sarah's one missed phone payment. That was my job. Then Seth was out of work and needed a loan to get by for a month. After that, I volunteered to cover the cost of their daughter's birthday present. Well, I didn't. Everyone thought I would, too. They always made it seem like I was indebted to them. Mom would tell Mason, "You're lucky," with a lovely but slightly harsh tone. "You are spared the hardships that your sister endures. Just so you could share, God made your lives easy. As a family, you lift each other up." Dad added his 2 cents multiple times. "Without us, you wouldn't be at this place." Translation, is that so? It was us who brought you into this world. Your paycheck is due now. I made no requests whatsoever. Not when I had to subsist on rice and eggs for 6 months after losing my job. I didn't go on vacation for 3 years in a row so I could save up. Not even 2 years ago, when I aided in paying off Sarah and Seth's credit card debt. They have never reimbursed me. They were completely unappreciative. Is the family reunion still on your agenda? Last week, Sarah had inquired. Yeah. I responded. What should I pack? Swiftly, she responded. You just only to show up. That is, your card. At first, I took it as a joke. It wasn't, as I now know. Sarah contacted me 2 days subsequent to the occurrence. No, I said. It was her second attempt at contacting us. Time and again. Soon after, Seth sent a text message. Give her a ring, dude. Anxiety is consuming her. After 5 tries, I managed to pick up. She said, Mason, her voice low and trembling. An issue has arisen. Yeah. Dude, stop acting like way. The unexpected transpired. Silence fell upon me. She went on to say that the power company arrived today. We have not yet paid the invoice. Quite a bit behind. Furthermore, they have threatened to cut off the service unless we pay by Monday. So? She hesitated. So? You must assist us. That made me giggle. A brief screech. You deplete my funds, and now you want more? We weren't the only ones. Her temper flared. Even our parents were helped out by us using some of it. Do you recall that last month Dad's automobile had a breakdown? No one told me. Since you consistently decline requests that aren't life-threatening. Excuse me, Sarah, I remarked in a casual tone. This isn't only incorrect. This is outrageous. You're exaggerating a bit. It's relatives. I was never asked. Your approval was not anticipated. Count on it. You've been that ally. You're meant for that, aren't you? Yes, I saw it. That is your purpose. I was up all night that night. As I lay here, my mind races back over the last 5 years. The gifts. The little swaps. You are the strong one, Mom would often tell you. The way Sarah would roll her eyes whenever I showed any sign of hesitation. I was never considered a brother by them. A guy's child. One individual. No more than that. Mom gave me a call 3 days later. We ought to have a conversation. My well-being went unasked for. The subject of my employment remained unmentioned. Concerning the missing funds, she made no inquiry whatsoever. A family supper is in the works. No one else. Dropped by later on. I felt sick to my stomach. What is the true nature of this? Mason, she whispered. A lot of stress has been generated by you. Because of me, tensions rose. But I still went. I wanted answers, part of myself. A second component hoped they would play the sorry card just to see what happened. Not at all. Sarah was there, arms crossed, as soon as I stepped inside. Looking uninterested, Seth sat down next to her. My mother was cooking. As if nothing had transpired, Dad casually perused the mail. To start my day, I brewed coffee in a broken cup and positioned myself by the window, observing the sun's gradual ascent above the garden fence she once maintained. I felt like I could breathe for the first time in years. The stillness, however, was brief. That afternoon, Dad sent the first email. Holy cow, this is out of hand. Every member of the family feels ashamed of you. When did allegiance disappear? It went unanswered. Following this, Sarah sent a text message. I wish you joy. Their accounts are being frozen. Somebody at work is looking into Seth. You completely demolished our lives because of a few payments. Only 2. Spend at least tens of thousands of dollars. Imagine giving up nothing for 5 years. Mom arrived next. There is a voicemail. She spoke in a low, crackly voice. There was another way you could have done it. We could have dealt with it as a close-knit unit. Mason, my darling, I implore you. Charges are being threatened. We could end up losing the house, they added. That line kept running through my mind. It went unanswered. It was as if my anger had evaporated. I was not being spiteful. That was all. My home had already been lost to me. It was a long time ago, when they valued me more as a financial asset than a son. That was 2 days ago. Someone I didn't anticipate then sent a message. Uncle Seth. We were far. Perhaps exchanged a little birthday message. But the text he wrote was plain. I wanted to inform you that Sarah is attempting to pin the blame on you. This means that you were aware of and gave your approval for the monetary transfers. An attorney is involved. Maintain vigilance. Nearly made me chuckle. She persisted in attempting to spin it even as everything fell apart. Later that night, I contacted my attorney. Please send all documents. Here, we're not merely filing charges, I repeated. Like you, I'd like a restraining order. Though some messages were friendly. It was a week after that Seth's sister Kelly sent me a brief email. Even though we haven't communicated in a long time, I wanted to let you know that you were correct. Almost anything. They handle you in a certain way. Regarding how poisonous it has grown. Your icy demeanor used to baffle me. You were brave, in my opinion. Her speech had my attention for quite some time. Mustering courage. Never in my entire family had anyone ever called me that. Still another ringing in the morning. A mysterious figure. I was about to say no, but then I felt compelled to answer. My name is Mason. It was a little voice. Hoarse. This is Sarah. Silence was mine. Her speech continued. I am fully aware that I made a mistake. Very well. I crossed a line. This is how I didn't anticipate things playing out. Seth has gone on suspension. Our mother is inconsolable. My dad will not even acknowledge me. As well as you. She was unsure. You could have ruined everything at any time. It was ultimately done by you. For a split second, I remained silent. My next remark was dismissive. I made sure nothing got ruined. I simply refused to let you pass me by anymore. Complete stillness. After that, why don't you just quit it? Let the charges die. No, really. I am willing to go to any length. Please, put a stop to it. Something nearly sparked in me. Almost there. However, her words from the reunion night flooded back to me. More than you, we needed it. Bittersweet, I grinned. No. I said, I declared. This is all your fault. There you are, a resident of it. I ended the call. Later that evening, without anyone else around, I made supper. I put on my all-time favorite college album. Observed passing traffic while sipping coffee on the porch. Nobody even approached me for money, which hasn't happened since I was a teenager. I was unbent by anyone's guilt. No one ever made me feel that my worth was contingent upon my ability to contribute. Their wallet no longer included me. I was truly myself. I was satisfied with that. This is not a bank. Don't think of me as a fallback. That's it. The tranquility of it is weird. You won't hear anyone mention that. In your mind, it will be like a huge party with plenty of loud music and fireworks. However, as for me, I heard no one begging for money while I heard peace. Nobody is challenging my self-centeredness. Nobody is texting you lengthy messages because you're the only one who's succeeding. Absolute stillness. Stunning, unbroken stillness. Since the night I detonated everything, 3 months have elapsed. 3 months have passed since the inquiry began. The moment agents strode through our front door, my family's astonishment washed over them, shattering their years of deception. Your family is something you can't pick, they say. Perhaps that's the case. On the other hand, you get to decide how much of who you are you're ready to sacrifice to make them happy. I had had enough of losing. Rapid repercussions followed. To begin, Sarah and Seth attempted damage control. A lawyer approached my attorney over email, proposing a confidential resolution. There is no need to apologize. Absence of ownership. Managing damage is all. I informed my attorney. Fire it up. A letter arrived from Mom a week after that. A 10-page document. Her tidy but rather shaky handwriting. How things escalated was detailed in her writing. Their intentions were always pure until they damaged me. How she wished I could grasp the broader perspective. According to her, they thought you'd be around forever. Good sons do that. Those words lingered in my mind. I mean, it was a perfect statement. No, we were incorrect. You were unworthy of that. You were simply expected to remain silent and continue contributing. I remained silent. I stayed silent. I also didn't feel any shame, which is a first for me. I shifted. Fresh flat. A brand new state. No more unannounced visits from distant relatives. Sarah won't be dropping by unannounced anymore. I revised my phone number as well. After seeing how dedicated I had grown, my supervisor extended an offer of promotion. Yes, I did. It's funny how your performance at work improves when you're not covertly trying to pay off your mom's overdue electricity bills and your sister's car payment. With this change, I am able to get a better night's rest. My diet has improved. Breathing is easier for me now. Because I am no longer burdened with 4 individuals who are unwilling to express gratitude. Later on, a letter arrived. The address is missing. Enclosed is a $1,200 check, together with a handwritten message. He was gone when I left him. I was mistaken. My heart raced. However, I must admit that your actions inspired me to also walk away. This covers all of the expenses associated with Ellie. Because of the tablet, the rent, and the clothing. Seth never thanked you, and I know it. Nevertheless, I am. You were the role model I needed, and I am grateful. I gave it 2 readings, Kelly. My heart broke. Devoid of melancholy. Not due to discomfort. But that's because I was finally recognized as an individual by one member of that family, rather than just another number or scapegoat. Occasionally, someone will ask me if I have any regrets. A straightforward solution also exists. No. I should have acted sooner. While others went out to restaurants, shopped, and talked about their joyful family sentiments on Instagram, I relived every nightmare, ruined every vacation, and lived on a shoestring budget. Making myself little so that they could feel big is something I deeply regret. When you crossed a line, I should have spoken up, but instead I remained mute. Do I, however, feel remorse for getting to my feet? Putting it on fire? Absolutely not. When I finally said no, my therapist wanted to know why it had taken me so long. I felt bad about telling them no since I assumed it showed my lack of affection. Saying no is the best way to educate others to love you back, she added with a nod. Never has that slipped my mind. My high school pal and I crossed paths again a few days ago. I witnessed what happened to your family, she remarked. Yeah, that's crazy. Jury duty was imminent. Shame, perhaps. What she really meant was, good for you, which she accompanied with a smile. Many individuals never leave. That was my way of thanking her. Afterwards, I left with a sense of self-confidence. Sarah and Seth are the subjects of ongoing investigations. Seems like Seth got fired, as far as I'm aware. A freeze was placed on Sarah's bank account. Mom is attempting to get a home refinancing, and Dad is supposedly pointing fingers at people outside the family for everything that's wrong. They are still confused. Nothing was ripped apart by me. The parts were still there, but I stopped acting like they were. Flashbacks happened to me occasionally. Later that evening. Here is the table. As I viewed my account, Sarah couldn't help but giggle. As if it were a joke, Seth grinned. Mom dismissing the matter. She told you that you could live without that sum. What comes next? They have learned the truth. That sum of money wasn't trivial. I lived for it. I am free. Regarding my health. Personal limits. They ignored the fact that they had crossed them for a long time. The price is now on them. I am not happy about their demise. But I am the one who celebrates. Thanks to making it through. Just for leaving. For not going back. Even in the face of lonely quiet. Despite the fact that, like before, remorse moaned in my ear. Just because of that quiet. This is liberty. So, if you're here and you've always been the rock, the responsible one, the excellent kid who sticks to your word and never says a word, then this is for you. Here is something I wish someone had told me. To keep other people warm, you need not risk your own life. It's okay with me if you stop. It's okay for you to leave. Furthermore, once you accomplish that, a family is not lost. You discover who you are.